Present.
Victoria Newport, Jeremy Olson, Valerie Pena Hernandez,
Here.
David Seymour.
Present. You might want to turn the sound off on your, there you go.
Okay, we'll go ahead and stand for the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we'll start with is public participation and recognition. Public comment is first. Please see board policy 2:230, handout available at the meeting. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board should complete a request card or make or President Sarah Moses at d428.org prior to the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order. Do we have any public comment, Shannon?
No, there were no comments.
Okay. I just have 2 public comments that were emailed to me that I'm going to read. First public comment is from Kayla and Christopher Heimerman. Good evening, DeKalb School District 248 School Board. Less than a month ago, the school board made the correct decision to offer school 100% remotely. As John A. Pierce spelled out very well in his correspondence, cases have more than doubled in the community, making it unfathomable that this district would reverse course and offer any in-person learning at this time. The numbers are startling. Right now, on Monday, the county health department reported 64 new cases since Friday at noon. As of Friday, the county's positivity rate was 7.4%. These numbers are not going to get better as we enter the cold and flu season. Activities will be forced indoors, and the temperature has dropped to the point where teachers will no longer be comfortable to even crack a window in poorly ventilated school buildings. The University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation projects that by December, the nation could be seeing 2,900 deaths per day. Cases will predicate that wave of death, and it is on us to limit those cases in any way we can. We've gathered from our children's teachers that in the 2-hour afternoon sessions, students won't be learning new material. Teachers will be supervising children as they work on independent activities and reteaching content. This begs the question, what do you stand to gain by putting kids, teachers, and the community at risk? Teachers can mitigate risk by continuing to work with smaller groups in the afternoon via video. With diligence, we'll hopefully be in a place soon where it is safer for our children to attend school in person. Without it, we'll remain in this spiral of suffering longer. Just because the Illinois Department of Public Health has inexplicably moved the goalposts on the threshold to safely return to a hybrid model, the district doesn't have to follow suit. It is a recommendation, and no new science-based data or information has emerged that warrants following it. The community's 7.4% positivity rate narrowly sneaks under the 8% threshold. With one outbreak, the rate will go back over 8%, which not only exacerbates a public health catastrophe, it also results in a lot of parents becoming angry when they've sent kids back in person and must now have them home once again. It is at most fundamental level, the decision to have kids back in school is ill-advised and reckless because of the risk far outweighs the benefits. We appreciate that we're being given the option to keep our children at home. Remote learning has gone very well in our house. Chad Metcalf and the girls' other teachers have done an exceptional job, and our girls get up in the morning and get excited for school. We've heard anecdotally from teachers that things are going better than they hoped. We hope that you'll recognize that 100% e-learning plan the school board approved in August is working, and the only reasonable option as this public health crisis persists. All right, and then I have one more to read. Okay, this is from Bridget Craddock. And she says, I would like to ask when we can expect that children return to school. I have a second grader and a fourth grader, and I saw the survey about sending K through 2 kids back to school. What does this mean for my fourth grader? I understand the concerns of limiting how many are at school, but isn't this the point of AB schedule? My fourth grader cannot be left home alone. I have to work, and I have had to arrange childcare since March. I planned on not paying any childcare this year besides summer camp, but now I'm paying $800 a month through Park District for just 3 days a week. I understand that school is not daycare, but teachers are able to have their children with them at school, but the rest of us have to pay for childcare or figure it out. Like most parents, I feel frustrated and I don't feel like our concerns are being met. E-learning for 3 hours is no way for our children to learn. I appreciate our teachers, but I didn't go to college to become a teacher, and my children sitting in front of a computer does not help them. When do we go forward in our lives and allow our kids to be kids again? Thank you, Bridget Craddock. Okay, and that's all for public comment. Do we have any board correspondence? Okay, next is the consent agenda. We have subjects A through E. The recommended action, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, items A through E. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Valerie Pena Hernandez,
Yes.
David Seymour.
Yes.
Okay. Next is superintendent's report and presentations. Our first presentation is, or actually it's action item. It's First Student Incorporated Contract Amendment, Ms. Cindy Carpenter. And the recommended action is that the Board of Education approve the amended contract with First Student Incorporated as presented. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Valerie Pena Hernandez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid.
Yes.
Okay, subject B is request for additional payroll support, Ms. Cindy Carpenter. This is an information item.
Yeah, the business office is requesting to add a position to support the payroll process. Cindy, do you have an update to give?
Basically, what we're looking for is an additional FTE in our payroll office. We currently have Beverly Stone, who is one person who handles payroll. She's been with the district for over 14 years. And our payroll has become, and always has been, very complicated, and we've grown quite a bit in the last 14 years. So having that additional support in that office will help with our backup plan. We've tried to kind of patch together a plan that would work in the short term, but in the long term, it would be very difficult. And under the circumstances, as we are in COVID, and we've been lucky, we haven't had issues, but we definitely need somebody to support her, as well as get a better backup system in place for payroll, which is obviously very important to the district in order to keep everybody's paychecks on coming on a frequent basis. So we're looking for that additional support. This is informational at this meeting, just to get see if you have any questions or concerns.
I have 2 questions for you. Well, first of all, I know Beverly is amazing and does a lot. Honestly, we're grateful to have her. But I do have a question in terms of why unaffiliated opposed to affiliated? Why that avenue instead of it being an affiliated staff?
The payroll position itself, it's a confidential position, and typically those positions are unaffiliated. So, and in most districts, I know in districts I've worked in, and Deetra, maybe you can confirm as well, those types of positions that are in the HR office or specific to payroll are typically unaffiliated positions for that purpose.
I do concur with that based on the confidential nature of the work. It should be unaffiliated because you don't want individuals having knowledge about their other collective bargaining members.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And then my second question is the pay, 40,000 to 45,000. How was that decided? Is that like basing it on other school districts that obviously have a similar role, or how was that decided since it is unaffiliated?
Yeah, I actually did some research on that with our LUDA districts as well as with other districts in the area, and it's within the range of somebody that is more, we're going to say, clerical in nature, and I guess it would depend on what sort of applicants we get in terms of their skill set as well. So when we did that research, that was the range where that position would start.
Okay. Thank you for answering those questions.
Sure, no problem.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, consensus to bring this item back for a vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Sure, thank you, Cindy. Next is the Menta program at Cheeseboro update. Tammy Carson, Kyle Gertis, and Christy Meyer, and Cindy Carpenter.
I'm going to begin by saying that right before COVID, at the February 4th, 2020 board meeting, the board approved this for a bidding project. Then COVID arrived and this project was put on hold. When I came to District 428, I heard about this plan. I think it's an excellent way to increase services for students and save money as well. And then Kyle and friends can come here to give an update.
All right, can you guys hear me? Okay. So just a little bit of background. Ray set the table pretty well. It's located in Aurora. Additionally, there are up to 20 other students in our district in other therapeutic day programs that are located in various locations throughout the region, primarily, actually all towards the city of Chicago. What we hope to accomplish by converting Cheeseboro Elementary into a therapeutic day school is the ability to bring these students back to our community. So it would cut down significantly on the amount of time that they have to travel to and from school every day. And these students are DeKalb school district students. And so to be able to provide them the education within the DeKalb city of DeKalb would be, I think, a little bit more fitting than having to transport them to other communities. That is, for some students, a significant drive. We have recently began to have some discussions with Menta about continuing on with this project as recently as September, and both parties, so the district and Menta, have agreed that this is still a priority that we want to pursue moving forward, with the overall goal of hopefully opening up in August of next school year. And I think Tim will provide a little bit more of that timeline for us.
All right, can everyone hear me?
Mhm.
All right, thank you. So at this point, what we did with the architect is we did place the design work on hold last April when we did pause on the project. They have about 2 months more of design work left before we can go out to bid. So we are going to be waiting for the Menta to come back with the final approval in November from their group. And assuming we can get their approval in November and your support to continue, we would then give the architect the go ahead to move forward with design, and then be going out to bid in January or February, with bid results coming back to the board for final review and approval in March and April, and also for Menta's approval with the final numbers, so that we can start construction in April and work through the summer months so we can occupy as of July and be ready for students in August. Are there any questions in regards to the financial side of this or the timeline?
May I ask a question, Tammy? When we talked about it previously, we had Barb Food Mart was moving to this new building, and that's still the plan, the spaces that that everyone went over together.
Yes, all of the layout is still the same as we discussed when we brought it forth before, with the food mart moving over, facility operations, also and food service moving out of Huntley to create more space at Huntley for staff and students. And obviously 80% of the building would be occupied by Menta.
And this doesn't include, though, creating like a roundabout driveway in the front of the building, does it? Off of Garden?
This does include that cost.
Okay, perfect.
And again, I believe we were doing that as an alternate, if I'm remembering correctly, so that the decision could be made at the time of bid results being presented, whether the funding would be put forth towards that drop-off zone.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so David says yes.
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 Excuse me. This is actually just coming forth as an update.
Okay,
It has already been voted on to go to bid, so as long as there's no further concerns, we will just continue with that process and restart.
perfect.
Okay?
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, next item is request to bid summer projects. Tammy Carson.
Thank you. As we're actually, seems like we're just finishing up one summer, we're already planning for the next, and I brought forth a list of summer projects that we'd like to go to bid for. We do start our bidding process early in DeKalb so that we can get on in the beginning of the bidding process and get the best price that we can before contractors are filled with their projects. So at this time, what we're bringing forth is asphalt projects, which is seal coating, asphalt, and striping. Those are actually just quoted out because of the dollar amount, but again, I put it forth because it is some funding, significant funding that'll be brought forth. The flooring project at Brooks, there has been some damage to the floors there, and it is something that we need to get done for safety reasons. We're kind of band-aiding it along right now without students in the building. Actually been a benefit because we haven't had safety issues. But we'll have it ready when those students return. But we do need to replace the corridors and the gymnasium. We have been approved for a grant for that project to cover $50,000 of the project already. So that funding has already been received, if I remember correctly, Cindy, and is just waiting for the project to be approved. The Little John and Jefferson HVAC projects are the rooftop units over the pods in those buildings. Those are the next two units on our list that need to have the replacement done based on the age and life expectancy, and we're having some issues with those. We will be bidding those separately, so we'll have the opportunity, if we choose to pull back on any project, we could approve one or the other or both. And then the roof at Huntley, there is a portion of roof that we are, again, beyond life expectancy and looking to bid that out. That project, I will make note, we would not start that project until after July 1st because of life safety funding. We have used our life safety funding already for this fiscal year for the Cheeseboro roofing project. So we would not be looking to start that project until after July 1st for fiscal year 22. I do want to remind the board that we have phase 2 of the Clinton Rosette HVAC project that has already been pre-approved, which is the first floor HVAC renovations, which includes the HVAC lighting and ceiling renovations. That has already been approved and has about $1.6 million left that'll be funded starting next June into the next fiscal year also. Again, this is just to be brought forth as a request to bid. It is, you'll have the opportunity once the final numbers come in to make a decision whether we move forward with any or all of these projects.
Okay, are there any questions on summer projects? Okay. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, next up is alternative logo trademarks. Ray Lecter.
Yeah, this is a quick one. Peter Groff has 3 logos that he'd like us to consider applying for a trademark. You have them in your executive session portion of your agenda. We're planning on getting a cost estimate to do this process, and we're going to present it to you at the next board meeting. If it's not too expensive, we're going to recommend that we go forward with it, but we'll have more information then. Any questions?
Mm-mm.
Any questions?
So do we have any trademarked logos right now?
I don't believe we have any. Oops. I don't believe we have any of our logos that are trademarked. This way we own them.
So that's the benefit, is that we own them. Are there legal ramifications for trademarking?
Yeah, we're going to find that out when we take the next step.
Mhm.
And then what about the communications director? Will they have interest in, I know that like just being cohesive across the district with our logos and our, everything that we use for.
Yeah, the
and-
three that we are recommending, at least in this first phase, are pretty standard and they're pretty common for us. So I think they're safe that way. They could definitely be, if we get all three approved, then we have options.
Got it, okay. Okay, anyone have questions?
Makes sense.
Okay. So do we need a consensus to bring this back then?
No, we're going to bring it back.
Okay. All right. Next is gymnastics program facility usage. Ray Beckner.
Yeah, our gymnastics program has a long-standing tradition of swapping facility use for coaching services with Energym. This has been done through facility rental forms over the years. However, because the services are being swapped, we actually need a board-approved contract with you giving us permission to do that. Legal counsel drafted a contract which can be found in your board docs. This draft contract has been presented to Energym for review, and we're hoping to have a signed contract brought back to you for the October 20th board meeting for your approval. Any questions?
Okay, no questions? Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the multi-year contract with NIU Convocation Center for DeKalb High School graduation 2021 through 2023.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one. It's just a contract renewal. As you just indicated, historically, the high school has used this facility for their graduation, which helps us ensure that we can accommodate all families. Due to COVID, we were unable to use the center this year, but we're optimistic that we're going to be able to do it this spring, and this contract will be brought to you at the next board meeting for final approval. Any questions?
Yes. Am I on? Oh, I am. In the event that COVID persists, what will that contract look like going into 2021?
Yeah, I believe it'll be just like it was this year. We did not pay any fees. We just didn't use it. So the contract is tied to use.
Very good.
Okay, so consensus to bring that back, is that what you need? Yeah. Bring it back? David? Sam?
Yes, yes.
Val? Okay,
Yes.
all right. Next is our reentry plan update. Ray Lechner?
Yes, this is our big item for the evening, and we're going to talk about our first step for determining reentry phases is in monitoring local COVID positivity rates to assure we are aligned with the established metrics that we have on our website. Weekly review the district's 7-day positivity rate. This assures not only that we can begin reentry, but also that we can maintain in person as we move forward. Last Thursday, the average 7-day positivity rate in the 3 zip codes that comprise for District 428 was 5.3%. As a result, we still have a green light to move forward. Next, our plan is to provide weekly updates on our district website, which include this positivity rate data, but we're also going to share any district positive COVID cases and/or any quarantine numbers of students and staff. That will begin this Thursday. Regarding our in-person student programs, the very next step for reentry will be for at-risk and special needs students. First, we've been working with the Youth Service Bureau regarding a partnership to expand a program. This program provides students kindergarten through 12th grade support during the day for needed assistance as well as academic and social emotional support. Currently, the Youth Service Bureau is limited in the number of students it can serve because they have a relatively small office space. To allow more students access to these services, starting on October 12th, the program will be expanded. The Youth Service Bureau will be using gym space at Clinton Rosette Middle School so they can support more of our students in need. Also on October 12th, we continue to be on track to start with in-person instruction for early childhood, SOUL, developmental communications, and the 8 to 21 transition team. We surveyed parents and guardians with children that attend these programs. 70% of parents plan to have their children attend school in person, while 30% have opted to continue with e-learning. Students in SOUL, developmental communications, and the 18 to 21 transition team will attend school in the mornings. Students in the early childhood program will attend either a morning or an afternoon session. All programs will hold in-person classes for 5 days a week, with the exception of early childhood, which will hold in-person classes Monday through Thursday. For parents who chose only e-learning, they will continue to receive a combination of synchronous and asynchronous instruction with materials delivered by a first student every 2 weeks. The district will provide busing for all students in need. Breakfast and lunches will be provided free of charge through the 5-day meal boxes. However, we will ask students to eat prior to coming to school or when they go home. After many special needs students return on October 12th, our next step towards reentry is to bring back K-2 students in the afternoons. This is scheduled for the week of October 26th. Again, this is a target date as we closely monitor positivity rates, and we're following the IDPH and DCHD metrics. Beginning October 26th, we will divide K-2 students into 3 groups. Daily, all students will continue to participate in e-learning from 9 a.m. to noon. This is the same as we've been doing since August. Group A will then attend school in person Monday and Tuesday afternoons. Group B will attend school in person Thursday and Friday afternoons. Group C is for students whose parents choose only e-learning. They will continue with established e-learning sessions from 9 to 12 p.m. daily. A team of teachers and administrators chose this model because they felt students and parents have learned to participate mornings with established arrangements already in place. So if we continue an established routine, it's much less disruptive to families. Finally, once we have polished plans for these special needs in pre-K through second grade students, we're getting ready for our next step. That step is grades 3 through 5. With that then, Kyle and Kim are here to help answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, I have a question about the first group of students, the early childhood, the SOUL, 18 through 20. About how many students is that total? That first, if you know offhand.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a ballpark of the number of families that we surveyed, which was around 150.
Okay.
I can say we've gotten, and these are family responses, so a family could have more than one student in a program or multiple programs. But right now we're about 104 survey responses that I have collected, and then I know teachers have reached out to their students and families that are in their programs to get responses of those who, for one reason or another, couldn't complete a survey.
Okay.
So,
but the respondents you've gotten, so out of 104, around approximately 70 students would be coming back, give or take.
Actually, it'd be higher than that. So I would say it would be closer to, making me do some math here in my head. Yeah, it'd probably be a little bit higher than 100 coming back in person. Yep.
Okay. Other questions?
No.
No?
No.
David, same, Val? No?
No.
Oh, wait.
Sarah, are you talking?
Okay, I'll take this one. Okay, this is a public hearing for e-learning. This one's an odd one. Because of COVID especially, it feels like this is actually a step that's kind of late. But just prior to COVID-19, remote e-learning was brand new, and all schools were seeking ways not to have to use snow days where school was closed by adopting remote or e-learning. Last fall, it became a state requirement for school districts to submit a proposal outlining their e-learning plans, as well as conduct a public hearing to be able to show how we would use e-learning in lieu of snow days. Now, even though we've been using remote learning for many months, this legal requirement has not changed. We still need to seek approval to use e-learning for snow days. This is a heads up. We'll be asking for your approval at the next meeting. Any questions?
No questions. Just sad for the kids. Just sad for the kids. They don't get snow days anymore.
Yeah, I get that. I do.
Okay. No questions on that? All right, well, go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Is there a motion?
David moved, I'll second.
Roll call?
Valerie Pena Hernandez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses.
Yes. All right.